Yeah, so flow pump, aqua flow in Bear. I'm sure they've serviced hundreds and thousands of people quite satisfactorily, but man, they let this resident down big time. Stuck me without water when they had the equipment available that would have helped me out tremendously. They made me drive basically almost to New York City, just as far as New York City, if not a little further, to get it. These people were quite happy to help me out. Pretty sad, especially, you know, when they say in these trying times, bullshit. They said, well, the plumbers need work. Well, the plumbers we called, they were jacked up, man. They had no available time. So, just uncool. But what's cool is that hose is running. That hose is running. That hose is running. The spigot. That hose is running. Did you use the water inside the house?
I flushed the toilet.
Yeah, I saw the fluctuation.
Okay.
So I've turned this one on, and that hose is still. I think that hose is still flowing over there. So this is running. That's running. There's no leak at the end. Everything's kind of
hunky-dory.
Hunky-dory is right.
Cool.
So now I'm just like, should I start burying stuff?
I know.
I got to bury that up there first, the electrical stuff. I can do that. But the key is, if you look up here, dry as a bone. Got water to this sink. That's cool. Water's still flowing. That's good pressure. That'll blow your socks off pressure right there. Water in the corn. Right on. Hey, look, there's some actual silk.
What'd you say?
Silk.
Oh, wow.
It's a little corn. It's coming.
It's coming.
All right, so first thing on deck here is to get some gravel, more gravel poured down the spigot hole here. I got it sitting on some gravel now, but I got to put some more gravel in there. Then I'm gonna hop to the other side and hand shovel some dirt and soil back into this, and then I'll use the tractor to start dumping soil. But I wanna at least get it covered by hand, so I'm not dropping anything on it and taking by chance you know, breaking the hose or the pipe or anything like that. So that's going to be the first gig after I get these rocks and stuff in here. All right, it's a sticky day out. Got a bunch of rain last night. Looks like we got about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain last night. It rained pretty good there for a little while. Of course, it started right when I was trying to finish some stuff up. Well, I'm so happy I got water running, and that was a huge weight off my back, off my shoulders. It was getting quite depressing, truthfully. So I'm just thankful it's done, and it looks like everything's functioning as desired, if not better. And I gotta clean these gutters off up here. I noticed with that rain last night, very little water was making it down the spout. It was just overrunning this gutter, which so much for gutter guard or whatever they are. In theory, I guess they work. The practicals of the matter are they sucked. Everybody's got a product that they sell you and make it sound like it's the greatest thing since sliced butter, and you go to use this stuff in a practical manner, it sucks. That's a fine howdy do, if you want my opinion. Today I'm going to be working on filling in my trench of despair. Got some tape and stuff in here. Is that one extra cap? Do I have one cap? Yeah, I do, right on. So I can plug up one of the ends. I hope the ends of this line are not is not flooded out with mud again, because I don't feel like digging in mud just to put a cap on a pipe that in theory should never be used again. But as things go in my world, I'm sure that thing is now caked in with mud down there, and yes indeed, I will have to dig in mud. It's my assumption. I'm assuming that. Planning for the worst, praying, hoping for the best. Man, I wasn't out there long with that rain, but it came down, it hit quick. I was in the ditch putting on I made some plugs. I made a couple of plugs on the other lines that for the old lines coming into the house. And of course, right as I was finishing up, I was heating up the pipe. The old line that I cut, one of the old lines that I cut coming into the house, I was heating it up to put my slip fit into it, and my not slip fit, but barbed fitting. And the rain started coming down, so man, I had my heater cranked on it, the flame torch, and I just beat that thing in. It got the hell out of the ditch because it started lightning as well. I got to go down here and take some pictures of the angry pumpkin. I'm going to finish up on it. I got it. I know what I need to do to make it functional today. It's real quick. I just got to get this ground wire hooked up, and it'll be back functioning. But I did exchange with Vermeer, so I'm going to take pictures of it, send it to them. Hopefully they'll. I told them I'll buy the manuals. I'm not looking to get them for free. It'd be nice, but I can't find a VIN or anything on this machine. So I said I'll buy the manuals, but I need a parts and wiring manual. So I can try to get this stuff functioning once again. Alright, well, let me get down to the angry pumpkin real quick, get those pictures sent off to Vermeer, and then I got to get an 8-inch pipe. I'll show you what I'm going to do for this valve at the spigot in the new line. I'm going to make a little access portal to that valve so I can turn things on and off to that spigot in case it fails and I don't have to shut the entire house system off. This is what I'm going to use for my access port to the shutoff valve for that spigot. I had a shorter, it's too short, that piece over there. I think it's too short to that 8-inch piece back there. I think this will work. I'll have to cut a chunk of it off here, but this should work. Pretty stout stuff. is what's used in these downspouts that's underground here. Alright, changing plans here. I can use this shorter piece. So this is how this is going to go. And that'll give me access to that valve down there. I think if I take that nut off of there, I've got a tool that will turn this thing. So this will be my portal to that valve. I'll have a cap and put like a piece of plywood with some insulation that hangs off the cap just to kind of keep that insulated down there, but it shouldn't freeze down there. Anyway, that's the plan, Stan. Well, I'm thinking I'm not even gonna have to use this green, cut off a chunk of the green one. This will be long enough to go down there, so pleased with that, because this is kind of expensive pipe. I'd like to keep those lengths as long as possible until there's such time I may need one or two of them. But I gotta get I'm gonna get my jigsaw out, because I gotta cut a couple of archways out of this to slip up and over that pipe. All right, so my end to that stick right there is not, it's bigger than the straight shaft on this here valve, so that's not going to work. So I'm either going to have to fabricate something to go on this handle so I can turn this handle. Let me get over to the shop and see what I can come up with. All right, it's bloody hot out here, folks, so I'm not gonna have to use that one. So I cut a notch out of this pipe here to fit this handle, so that'll be my turner on, my valve turner on or offer. And then I notched out this pipe to sit up over that valve. Hopefully it'll work out. We'll go see. This, I should have plenty of room. Shoot, I wonder if I should have offset this. Oh man. I don't know, that might work. It might work, we'll see. I don't know. I should have maybe had to offset that. Either that or I may have to cut off some of this handle. Don't want to do that. So let's go see what's up. So I'm back in the pit here. So now this, try something here before I tighten this up too much. Put this back on. So let's do a couple of things. Test one. Will this function? Yes, that will function. Now the question is this articulated with these slots enough to allow me to do that? No. Doesn't turn it all the way off. All right, so I'm bringing it up about a 1/2 inch and widening it out about a 1/2 inch so I can offset it a bit and it sits higher, because if this thing settles, I don't want it settling down on that poly pipe and rubbing on it. So I'll get it packed up with soil up underneath it, or with rock up underneath it, so when the soil and stuff goes around, it'll be kind of settled. Probably put some sand around it as well, so pack it in there. But this should allow me to offset it enough to get some clearance on there. Wider, taller. This is the offset side, so the valve handle will swing on this side. So this will be able to hug the valve on the side the handle doesn't swing to and give it more room to swing that way. So that should function. Let's go give it a twirl. So last night when I was in the ditch and it began to storm on me, I put my plug in the wrong line. I put it in the PVC line, which was the electrical. Still need to plug that so water doesn't just wind up trekking into that line and dumping down in there, but I could have just used a cap for it. The black one next to it down there, the one to the left of it over here, a little nub sticking out, don't know if you can see it, that's the one I got a cap. So hopefully I can use my vice grips just to pull that barbed fitting out of that PVC pipe. It shouldn't be too difficult. So let's give it a shot. So I got the plug out of the white PVC pipe and I got to put it into this black one, which means I got to heat it up and then just beat it in, and I'll probably put one clamp on it, given it's just a plug, in case something goofy with the well on the other side. It's disabled right now, but got to disable the lines running this way. Just secondary precautions. And besides, again, I don't want water getting in down here and jacking around with this system, you know, flooding it out, eroding the dirt away with water coming in there. So see what we can do here. Okay, Dana, get the fuck out of there. Fucker. Out of here. Wasps and shit. That one's done. Now I need a cap for that other. I don't have one. What I'm doing here is I'm going along my ditch is I'm shoveling some of the sand down first to give it so it hits the pipe gently and it fills in underneath the pipe any cavities that might be under the pipe. And then I come back with my stone and dump a bit of stone over that. So that's where I've made it to. Got that distance to go. So it's working out that way. Also, this gives a second layer of information if you ever have to dig this line up. So after this rock, I'll start dumping soil, and maybe after a scoop of soil going along here, I'll run yellow tape. So if you hit the yellow tape, you know you're getting close to the pipe. If you hit the rock, you know you're getting even closer to the pipe. So just to help the situation along a little bit if you ever have to dig back down in here. Then I'll see the soil's pretty powdery. It's real sandy. This was the lower stuff from when I was digging out. So you can kind of get the gist of what's happening here. All right, go get some stone. All right, load of rocks. Some already fell off into there. Spread out some this way and spread out some that way. All right, well, this is where I ended. I gotta cap those two lines down there, sticking out over here. Got to see what to do with this white, where that blue to white PVC goes, because that PVC sticks up out of the ground over by the barn, and that is not cool because it'll freeze and break, and that's all I need. So I went all the way down with dirt, with sand, and gravel. I started setting the spigot here. I got it partially set. I got my valve down there. You can't see, but there's a valve down there that I can turn on and off with this handle right here. I did a slip on the end of it to get on the handle. So I got to cap this white PVC line off down here, that little nub. It's a little nub sticking out right there, and get that capped off. And I can start running some sand and gravel around that and start filling all this in. I can use the tractor to fill all this crap in. But you can see it is not a big hole anymore. It's getting filled in. That makes me happy. So that's a wrap, folks. Protect the Republic. All right, well, it was an ass-kicking day today, man. I feel it, but progress was had. I didn't get to my angry pumpkin to fix that ground, but I did get pictures of it sent to Vermeer, so hopefully I'll be able to get some wiring and parts manuals from them on that. But I did get a layer of dirt and gravel, pea gravel, across the pipes and the ditch and the trench. I have to get a couple of parts, fittings, some caps and whatnot to cap off the old lines. That's not going to be too awfully difficult to do at all. I did some already last night in a thunderstorm. I got some done, but I got to make a decision what I'm going to do at the end of this white PVC line at the end of the run, because I think that line sticks up above ground over here by where the electrical goes into the barn, and it's PVC sticking up above ground. That's going to freeze, and then all I need is to do is break. That would totally suck. So I could actually either put a valve on the end of the line or just cut that line and cap it. We'll see. I'll think on it tonight. But I'm going to get my swimsuit on and just jump in the pool for a little bit, because I am beat, man. I am truly beat. Heat kills you. It just sucks it out of you. But anyway, protect the Republic. I love each and every one of you out there, my friends and family. Anybody watching this, other than my friends and family, let's protect this Republic we have. It's all we got, people. It's what separates us from living in, dictatorships or socialist type of environments that have proven to fail. Freedom, liberty, freedom to speak, freedom to worship, freedom to pursue happiness. Those are important things. And I don't care who you are. You lose those, you're going to regret it. So anyway, I'll be back at it tomorrow. So hope to see everybody soon, and stay safe. And that's a wrap for today. Hey, fill you in on a little bit of happening with the well. This is Wednesday, I believe. So Friday, I think it was Friday, found out that the second motor that dropped into the well wasn't working with this sub-drive controller in the basement either. So the first motor, pump and motor, was Gould's 2 horsepower setup, 35 GS 20, 35 gallons per minute, high capacity, 2 horsepower. That didn't work. And so the best we could come up with is that the motor was not applicable for the subdrive, being a 2 horsepower, and checking into the subdrive, it was for 3 horsepower. So I find 3 horsepower. A local shop wouldn't sell me. So the first motor was a 2 horsepower. We dropped it in. That didn't work. So I buy a 3 horsepower motor and pump, both a complete setup. And so we pulled the 2 horsepower up and out, lowered the new 3 horsepower setup in, fired it up, and it didn't work. So I was like, well, what the hell? Now, what's the problem? I look, so now, better late than never, but I go start reading in detail the information about the subdrive in the basement. And lo and behold, it doesn't necessarily just throw the information out to you, but it's an inverter as well. It inverts the single phase input from the house to a 3-phase. So you need a 3-phase motor for this setup. We find a local place that has the motor, but they were being assholes and wouldn't sell to me. Which they could have, but they said no, they just sell to, they don't sell to residential customers. They sell to licensed plumbers and whatnot. So they wouldn't sell one to me. And, they said, well, it's because plumbers need the work and, you need somebody over there, a plumber. Well, we had talked to a plumber. Need the work. They were so busy, he didn't have anybody that he could even cut out to come help me because they're busy doing other crap. And you got to realize I'm on like 3 days now, 2.5, 3 days without water. So I go back up to North Jersey, up by New York City, the same place I bought the 3 horsepower single phase pump and motor from, and I bought a 3 horsepower 3-phase motor from them. And so that was about a 5-hour drive. Got everything prepped up. A friend of mine, Todd, a friend of ours, Todd, he came over and helped. So had to pull the 3 horsepower single phase pump and motor out. That was an effort, man. This shit gets heavy, I'm telling you, especially when it's filled with water. But we did a pretty cool trick. We brought it up and over the bucket of the tractor, down underneath the tractor, hand fed it up a little bit, then tied off onto it and used the gator to pull it while I sat at the well casing and was pulling it up by hand so it would come straight up, go up and over the bucket, and the gator was pulling it. So it really made it a much easier effort than doing it by hand, which did with the 3 horsepower single phase, pulled it up and out by hand. That was laborious on me. So anyway, we got the 3 horsepower pulled out. The second round, got it pulled out. Disconnected the motor from the pump. I connected the new 3-phase motor to the pump. The pump was for a 3 horsepower, so I didn't have to change the pump out. Had to resplice the line, the electrical lines, of course. And but we tested the motor before we put it down the hole. Just the motor, wasn't hooked up to the pump. And the controller, we flipped it on. The controller did spin the motor. So we said, okay, great. Get it re-spliced and all that good thing. Then go through the effort, just reverse the process basically to get the pump back down into the well. And then the pigtails, I twisted them up and put wire nuts on them. Go to the basement, flip the breaker, and the same frickin' error code. Bad connections, bad motor. So needless to say, this was the 3rd attempt, and I was very, very disappointed. It just knocked me down. I just had to sit in the basement for a few to figure out what was going on. So I figured, well, let me go upstairs and come out here. We'll just make sure my connections are good and at the top of the pump, the pigtail, and see what happens. So I come up and I'm undoing the wires, you know, black, the yellow, the red, you know. So I'm undoing the wires, and as I'm redoing the yellow, I hadn't got to the red one yet. As I'm redoing the yellow, the red, the two red wires, one of them just fell out of the wire nut, and I hadn't even touched it yet. So I redid that. So I redid all the pigtail wiring with the wire nuts, and I go back down and flip the breaker, and sure enough, the damn thing fired up. So then we had a little bit of drama even after that. The pump would slow down, saying that the well was drying up. It was an underdrive condition, but it's worked itself out of that now. I think just shut everything off, had nothing running, and it seemed to prime up, and it's running fine now. It holds right at 50 psi, like right on the button, and about every 2 minutes or so, 2.5 minutes, you know, a little less than 5 minutes, you'll watch the pressure gauge. It'll kick up to 60. Then you'll see the indicator light on the subdrive. It'll flash, meaning the motor is now running, and the motor will run for about 10 seconds and shuts off, and it just sits there right at 50. So it's pretty cool. It's everything's functioning just fine. So there was a little bit of drama to this whole pump. So 3 times: 2 horsepower setup, single phase; 3 horsepower setup, single phase; and then the last one was a 3 horsepower, 3-phase. So I'm not a plumber, man. I should have read through that subdrive manual more detail, but I had an electrician here helping. He didn't catch that it was for 3-phase, and if I just read through that thing in detail on the get-go, would have avoided all this drama. But we sat without water for like 4 days. It was a pain in the ass. This whole thing's been a pain in the ass, but I'm glad it's behind me. I'm covering it up, and I may have just a little bit of stuff to do tomorrow. I might put in another spigot, and because I got to do something with the line out there. I didn't know what it was for. I think I found out it sticks up out over by the barn and just spews water. So can't have that because it's PVC. It'll freeze and break, and then that's all I need. So I might cut that line at the end of the run here, where I spliced into, where I did a 90 into it, and I may just put a spigot out there as well, and call that a day. But able to start covering all this crap up, and that's awesome. So the well's down. The electric's been inspected. It's good to go. Waiting for Delmarva to show up with a meter for it. And Tuesday, the builder comes to start on the new garage. So things are starting to look up. Maybe I can get back to, got my chipper running after that debacle. And I got to still weld up or fix the stick shift on the John Deere. But other than that, I'll be able to get back to reducing these piles of trees I have back here, and maybe start working on my engine again, the 540. That would be awesome. So anyway, that was a rundown, quick synopsis on the pump and motor. I'm going to do a whole video, just a short video on this whole well, a condensed version of everything that with this well, and put it into one condensed video, because it was truly an effort. That's a fact. All right, protect the Republic, and do something positive each and every day, whether it's for yourself, for a loved one, for a friend, a stranger, whatever. Do something positive each day, whether it's completing a task or helping somebody or whatever it is. Just something positive. Do something positive each and every day. And before long, you keep doing that, you start building up a pretty good bank account, if you will. savings account of good deeds progress each day. You feel better about yourself, you make the world a better place, and protect the Republic. That's a wrap. Thanks.